What does filmed for IMAX mean? It isn't just a movie that'll look great on IMAX's screens. It means that hiding from a sandstorm feels like fear in every flicker. And every triumph is felt in every sound wave. And the things we've only imagined, you can truly experience those too. That's what filmed for IMAX means. Get tickets to experience Dune Part 2 now and IMAX's exclusive expanded aspect ratio.
Entering the world of Crisis on Infinite Films, brought to you by All Too Real 2 Podcast.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me, as always, is...
Sesame, Hector, and Carta.
That's a name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Much like what we're talking about was a movie.
Yeah.
As in, it was moving pictures.
It was, yeah, technically, by the definition, it was a movie.
Yes. I watched it on a television.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that doesn't mean everything you watch on a television is a movie.
No.
There's these things called TV shows. I don't know if you've heard of them.
But... they also are moving pictures, so it's kind of weird.
That's true.
They're not movies, but they are still...
But they move.
Exactly.
Whoa.
Sorry, I'm already starting to get a sore throat just from thinking about this movie.
Yeah, well, so... as you probably know from the title of this episode, we are covering the 2011 film Green Lantern. 2011.
Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
Yep. 12 years ago, right? Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Just checking. This was made after Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And the original Spider-Man movies, and yeah,
sure was.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyways, so nowadays you may know the man who calls himself Ryan Reynolds as the guy who just sold a green color based cell phone company. Who, if you want to sponsor the show, I'd be more than happy to, talk about you in more detail. So if you're listening, cell phone company.
Mint Mobiles, that was his company, right?
Yeah, he owned 25% of it or something.
Oh, okay.
And sold it for billions of dollars. I mean, I don't know how much he got, but
well, he got a lot from it.
Yeah, I'm sure. And but he's staying on as their spokesperson, and probably getting paid for that too.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So this guy Ryan Reynolds, who you may know from such classics as Nickelodeon's 15, or the greatest sitcom of all time, Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place.
Yep. Which then got changed to just Two Guys and a Girl at one point, right?
Yes.
Because the pizza place was like, yeah, we don't need that anymore.
No, the pizza place got fired from the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, didn't it literally burn down?
I don't remember.
Oh, I
But
thought it actually burned down. Like literally got fired.
it may have, but you know,
I don't know.
it didn't
It's
have
been
a good agent, I guess, to stay on the
It's
ship.
been like
Yeah.
almost 15 years or 20 years since I've even watched it.
Oh
So
yeah, me too.
yeah.
And yeah, you may know him from those wonderful things, or you know, such movies as Blade Trinity. You know, and the Sabrina the Teenage Witch made for television movie.
He was in that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He was in Just Friends, which I love. I mean, I know that movie's kind of
Yeah.
very, very dated, but I still think it's funny.
Yes, in yeah, he was in that.
He was also in that Wolverine not prequel, Beck's, origin story.
Yeah, where he played a
Where he
version
played,
of a version of Deadpool.
Yeah. A weird version of Deadpool, but yeah.
He was also in the 2003 film Foolproof.
Oh, that's right.
Canadian heist film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which we will cover for this podcast someday, I believe.
Yeah, we were going to at one point, and then
yeah, we didn't for some reason.
I don't remember what happened or why, but yes, I remember it was on YouTube, and it was like, because isn't that kind of how he started Mint Mobile, by just basically?
Oh, it had already been a thing, but he gave it out as a free movie on there.
Oh, right, yeah.
So,
out in the trees, full.
Yeah, anyways, he's an actor. Probably best known as Deadpool. And which is a much better superhero film than Green Lantern. Yeah, so thoughts here on Green Lantern before we get into it. Initial thoughts.
Yeah. I don't know. It was okay. It's just kind of boring.
Yeah.
And listless. Like, I didn't really know what it wanted to be plot wise. It was just kind of like it kind of reminded me of like a group project type of scenario where, instead of having like a unified theme, it was just like each person just kind of put their own thing on it without any regard for like,
there's no real thesis statement.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I like this thing, so I've got to put this, like, yeah, I know it's a group project, but even though it's a group, it's supposed to be somewhat unified. It's not just each individual person's thing and just put it on there. That's what it felt like to me. It was just like, it was like, oh, there's a backstory going on. Okay, we're gonna see the origin story, and then it was like, and it just like fell away, and then it was like a new thing, and it was like, oh, so now we're getting into like the superhero montage, cool, and then it was like, oh, I guess we're off that now. Like, it was just like, and then like, oh, we got the villain thing with his stories going side by side, and which I think is interesting. I think the villain's Hector story had more depth to his thing than the actual main character, which is Green Lantern. Like,
so my feelings on this whole movie is basically that it was all exposition with no plot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep.
It's like, hey, here's your characters, and we'll have them do something for about 10 minutes at the end of the movie.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's what it was.
Yeah. It's like when you go to a dance party, let's say, okay? And let's say the party's, scheduled to go from, 8 till midnight. All right? And from 8 until 11:45, you're meeting everybody at the party. And then they say, hey, now we can dance.
We got 15 minutes left. Yeah.
Yeah, that's this movie. Yep.
It's that actually would have been a better movie if like Ryan Reynolds led like a whole community dance at the end, kind of like with Saving Christmas, but better.
Yeah.
And like a breakdancing montage or whatever.
Or maybe like some big like, you know, Bollywood number at the end or something.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we didn't get that, so
no. I'd like to see the Green Lantern Corps doing a Bollywood dance number.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Or just put them in like, you know, instead they like got these new suits that are like they look like I don't know, like those suits that that Run DMC used to wear, and then in the 80s. And, Then they just start breakdancing. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I actually would pay to see that.
Yes.
Some like theaters and actually watch that opening night.
Speaking of those kind of tracksuits, this is totally off topic. Yeah. But I saw online today that the grocery store Aldi is selling tracksuits and like bucket hats like Run DMC wore.
Oh my God.
Branded Aldi.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's actual
it's like
Aldi like brand. Okay.
Yeah, like it's got the Aldi logo on them. And
oh my God, that's crazy.
I want to buy one just because.
I would not expect that from
Yeah.
Aldi. This seems weird, but okay.
And again, whatever. Aldi, if you're listening and you'd like to sponsor our show.
Yeah, I mean, I like their
Mike at ColinPerk.com.
You get good groceries and they're a lot cheaper. Mm-hmm. The only downside, sometimes they don't have certain things, but you can still get a lot of good stuff there. And it's just cheaper, a lot cheaper actually.
And they have these really good chicken patties that make really.
Oh yeah! Oh God! Oh, I know those. And they also have good wings when they have them. But then again, that's not really so much.
The chicken patties make really good chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, they do.
And they don't come with homophobia, like a certain chicken chain.
Well, I wouldn't say they're as good as Chick-fil-A chicken, but they're still pretty good.
Pretty good. You know, you don't feel like guilty for eating them.
So, plus, you get a pretty good chicken sandwich from McDonald's. Even that's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wendy's, whatever. The Green Lantern, Wendy's. I don't know, whatever.
Yes. So, anyways, the Green Lantern, is a movie.
Yeah,
I believe
it is. I mean,
so what's happening here in this? I guess you can call it plot.
I mean, at this point, you could probably just mention anywhere in the movie because it doesn't really matter because there really is no point A to B here. But
yeah, I mean, I guess it starts out like billions of years ago, I guess.
Yeah, it's basically like the sort of the origin, I guess, of the Green Lantern Corps, because there's like 3,600 different sectors of the universe, which I don't really know why we need to notice at the beginning of the movie, but fine. And again, like we're basically being told this. We're not really being shown it. We're just like told like the story immediately, and then they're basically there to kind of protect the universe from evil and all the stuff. And we're kind of told, I don't even know if we're told at this point, but we're told that there's like a force out there that's really evil, and it's like preys on your fears or something. And then I don't remember when they even talked about this guy or who he was, but
while we're on the subject of this movie too, because we're getting into the plot, before we get too deep into that, I want to mention the fact that the director of this movie is Martin Campbell, who directed Casino Royale and GoldenEye and The Mask of Zorro.
Wow.
He did a really good job with those movies.
Yep.
And from what I hear from the behind the scenes things is he wanted to cast somebody else in the lead role.
Oh yeah.
I guess he wanted to cast Bradley Cooper.
Wow.
And was basically so pissed off that the studio didn't let him because Bradley Cooper wasn't as well known at the time.
Right, yeah.
And he basically was so pissed off that he basically took out his anger on Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, God.
And Ryan Reynolds was happy when this movie failed.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yep, I would be too.
Yeah.
Because
he didn't want to work with him again.
Well, I don't blame him. You have someone that's treating you like shit. But
and the story was by Greg Berlanti, the head of the Arrowverse.
Yeah.
Michael Green and Mark Guggenheim, who worked as one of the architects of the Arrowverse as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. Some good people involved. I'm just trying to figure out what...
that's the thing. There's a lot of good people involved.
I don't know if it was Warner Brothers' involvement that fucked it up or what. Yeah.
That just goes to show just because you have a lot of good people involved doesn't automatically mean it's going to be good. You still need some kind of teamwork and a cohesive story or mission statement that kind of keeps everything going, because otherwise, like I said before, you're just going to have a group project type of situation where each person's just putting their own thing on there without regard to, what the project's actually supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean,
because we get this exposition about, where the Green Lanterns came from, the Green Lantern Corps or the Corps, and then fighting against evil. We get this little thing, in space, the planet Oa is where they're stationed or whatever, and then after we get that, we get, our Hal Jordan, who's just like, imagine.
Well, we also first we have an issue where this being called Parallax is destroying a lot of the Lantern Corps.
Yeah,
and Abin Sur is one of the Lanterns who is of Sector 2814. And he's basically about to die because of everything, and he's trying to find a replacement for himself. So,
he tried to fight it, but then he got beat up too bad.
Yeah, and Abin Sur is voiced by Tamara Morrison, a.k.a. Boba Fett.
And
Jango Fett. Yeah. And then he also went on to play the dad of Aquaman in the movie Aquaman. So
wow. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. We got Parallax, which is interesting because it sounds a little bit like Paralyzed.
Yeah.
And his whole thing is fear. So you paralyzed by fear. You get it. And it's like, yeah, we get it. You don't need to throw it in our face. We get it. We're not stupid here, but
no, you should draw me a picture and put it in a comic book form.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Well, speaking of drawing pictures, I mean, it looked like someone drew a picture and then just put it on a screen, and that was pretty much what Parallax looked like. It looked like freaking Galactus, but worse.
Yeah.
From the Fantastic Four movie from 2005 or whatever.
Yeah.
And and yeah, he's just this yellow, fiery, face, sort of ish. It's hard to describe because it doesn't really look at her face necessarily, but kind of. It's really it's hard to.
It's like a big smoke monster almost.
It's just it's just so weird. You hear the voice, it's very guttural, deep, growling shit or whatever. And the dude ends up just
getting voiced by Clancy Brown, who is a really good voice actor and actor that from things like Lost and stuff. So he's a good actor, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So this Green Lantern guy just gets completely wrecked by Parallax, ends up falling down to Earth, and that's where. Well, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. So that happens, and then we cut to we meet our lead actor. I guess.
Yeah, our lead.
I guess he's the lead actor.
Yeah.
Hal Jordan, played by Ryan Reynolds. who he's
and he's just being all Ryan Reynolds-y, but like turned up 11.
Yeah,
like
all cocky and full of himself, sort of. He's a test pilot, your Top Gun sort of guy, working at Ferris Aircraft, which is run by Carl Ferris, and his daughter's name is Carol Ferris.
Okay.
Played by Ryan Reynolds' wife, Blake Lively. I don't know if this is where they met. It might be.
Oh, that's his actual wife in real life?
In real life now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember if they met on this movie or if they got married before this movie.
Okay. But cool.
Oh, yeah, this is probably where they met, because this is before they got married. I think he was still with Scarlett Johansson at this time. So,
okay.
Yeah.
ScarJo.
Yeah. Who is now married to Colin Jost.
Colin Jost, yeah.
Yes.
SNL. Mm-hmm. Yep. Weekend update.
So, yeah. He's a cocky pilot. They have like a test thing where we meet his like best friend during this scene, who's like running things on the ground, played by Taika Waititi. Speaking of people who have been involved and in better superhero movies.
That's right. Wasn't he Korg?
Yeah, and he is the director of the last 2 Thor movies.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so.
Well, I didn't really like the last one that much, but the Ragnarok is good.
Yeah. Well, Love and Thunder was still better than this.
Oh yeah, I mean, totally.
Yeah. But anyways, we meet him, a young Taika Waititi. So yeah. In the comic books, I mean, he's a Maori person of New Zealand,
Okay.
Half Maori, half Jewish, I guess.
Okay.
And in the comic books, the character he plays is Inuit. So yeah, I guess what he said is he says I guess they just needed somebody that wasn't white or black, so they cast me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I believe him. I could totally see it happening in like the boardroom. Like, yeah, we need like, I don't know, some dude. Like, let's just get a list of actors,
Yeah, and it's like he's not Inuit, but yeah, it's close enough. He's not white and he's not black, so we'll just cast
Inuit and Maori like couldn't be further apart from each other geographically.
Yes,
but like I mean, like we're talking like
literally
15,000, 20, 30,000 miles away from each other. Yeah.
So, anyways,
I walk 500,000 miles. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Be the man who.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he's in this cockpit, being all cocky, all Ryan Reynolds-y,
and that's why they call it a cockpit.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
it's all cocky. Yeah, and then he's like, flying too close to the sun, like Icarus. Then the plane ends up fucking up, but then he ends up having some like PTSD memory where his dad died and he was also a test pilot.
Yeah.
And the plane exploded for some unknown reason, I guess, or something. And then
like it does. Yeah.
Like it does, whatever. Which I always love. Why would the plane just randomly explode? Like, so that would have been an interesting thing if they like later found out like, oh, someone actually killed your dad.
Yeah, like if you tied it back into the plot somehow.
That would have actually made.
I think that there was talk about that there was supposed to be some kind of like connection to the Green Lanterns or the Parallax or something in the past, and it would have made sense if that's why his dad died and there was some kind of
other than
emotional
just like a
connection. Yeah,
it was just a freak accident. Is all it was, and he ends up getting like snapping back, and then ends up not landing the plane. He pretty much wrecks it.
Yeah,
thing, and then he gets out.
Yeah, he parachutes out.
I feel like he just destroyed like was it like $100 million plane or something like that, or
no big deal.
He's just like he's acting all like sometimes shit happens, and
he's like I taught you what your plane can't do.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's what he said literally.
Like
And it's like, but nobody wanted to make the plane do that, so it's like a weird thing to say, but whatever. He's just being all Ryan Reynoldsy, just like way too much though. Basically, like this is like pre-Deadpool. It's like you get almost hints of Deadpool, his personality in this movie, but it's not nearly as like cynical or gruff. Like he's cynical, but
there's no finesse to it. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's just like almost like cockiness, almost on the verge of like whining.
Yeah,
like whereas Deadpool he's just kind of like dead to himself a little bit.
no pun intended. Yeah,
no pun intended. But you can sort of see like the sort of like seeds.
Yeah,
Deadpool coming from this great movie, and and they have some sexual innuendo here and there where the woman that's is his boss now, but they used to work together as test pilots, I believe.
Yeah,
and now she's like the boss of the company or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's her dad's company, so.
Oh, it's right. Yeah, it's her dad's company, but she like runs things.
Yeah,
for the most part, I think. And then,
she's the vice president of Ferris Aircraft, and I guess she's been the long time love interest of Hal Jordan. So
yeah. I guess they used to go out or whatever, because she mentioned something about like, oh, people jumping in your cockpit or whatever. Like, ooh.
See, the thing I didn't get is if they were currently dating or if it was in the past or what was going on. I didn't really.
No, I thought they were not current. I thought it was like a past.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell because then later on, like he kisses her and stuff, and it was just like seemed like I don't know, like maybe they were still dating. I didn't know what,
Well, that's the thing. When they don't tell you or they don't show you enough, and just you don't really know what's going on, then that's part of the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. They showed you too much and not enough at the same time. Because like key points were missing, but you've had too much exposition elsewhere. So yeah,
like 75% of this movie was pretty much just like Hal like emotionally coming to terms with being the Green Lantern, but like not in a good way.
Yeah.
Like, again, like I'm not saying like that's not a good thing, because I don't want to watch superhero films where it's just nothing but action. Like I want
to
but see some kind of thing, but like it was just done like in a like again like just almost like whining, like it was like not really easy to watch.
It was exposition that didn't make you care about the characters either. That's the problem. I mean, you like you said before, you care more about Hector, who is our villain.
Yeah.
Than you care about Hal. Yeah.
Well, because Hector had a more interesting backstory. Because we'll talk about him because he was like the opposite of Hal. Like he's not cocky, he's not confident. He's very much just kind of living within like a shell of himself. His dad, is a senator and wanted to pull string for him to get all these really cool jobs, but he didn't want to be like a nepotism case. But then he couldn't really get great jobs on his own or whatever.
Yeah,
and so dad's like disappointed in him for just being like a like a junior college chemistry teacher, professor, or something like that, or whatever, And then his dad ends up pulling the strings to get him to work on, I think it was the body. Okay, we're gonna get
so basically all over the place. So what happens is Abin Sur, whatever it's pronounced, fell to the earth looking for a replacement, and this green energy ball basically brings Hal there as the replacement. It's most people know this. That's how when you're replacing somebody in a job, that's how you get selected. A big energy ball comes and finds you, big green energy ball, and then just takes you to become the new stocker at Walmart or whatever.
Well, yeah, but also we do know that's true because that's what Chris, the transparent wolf ghost did to Joshua the lion to make him become Joshua from the Bible, Joshua the Promised Land.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Threw an energy ball at him.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently this is like a universal thing that happens in movies.
Maybe these are both part of the same, cinematic universe.
I mean, honestly, some of the special effects in this movie were just like a shade better than what we saw in Joshua the Promised.
Yes.
Yep.
This movie cost $200 million to make.
Yep.
In 2011.
2011. 200 mil.
And guess what its box office was?
I know it didn't break even.
It was 220 million.
So it did break even, but barely.
Yeah.
And that was barely enough to pay for the actors, probably, and then like nothing else.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've got that. Yeah. So anyways, what happens after he's taken there in a big energy ball?
The dude basically, like, he gives him like the oath, and basically just decides that he's a successor. Which is weird because, like, you don't get a choice in the matter, apparently. And then he gets the ring, and get the lantern, which is how you're supposed to charge it. But he doesn't know what that's for until later. And then I think he calls up his friend, I think. And,
because he needs a ride back because he was just taken there randomly by a big energy ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not really supposed to tell him, but I think he tells him anyway, or the guy finds out somehow. And then, he basically becomes his sort of like his sidekick in a way.
Yeah.
Like not so much like a Robin, but sort of like the guy who like helps him figure out like
he's kind of like an Alfred or something in a way.
Yeah, he just figures out how this stuff works, and but then like that's how we get like for most of the movie, Hal's just completely resisting this to the point of like yeah, I understand you're supposed to get some resistance, but it was like most of the movie he had like all these opportunities to like use the ring or do something.
Yeah, I mean it's the in storytelling, the refusal of the call.
Yeah.
That most heroes have. But that's basically his whole, I don't know, personality.
Yeah, it's like literally. That's the weird thing too about that, because like when they got Luke Skywalker and stuff who refuses the call, it's like they already had like sort of like a heroic streak to them to begin with.
Yeah,
and they get this call, but then they got like this lack of confidence where they just don't think that they're
good enough
for it. But like that they're good enough for it. It's just like they don't know they're good enough for it. But with this character, it was like, yeah, he's not good enough for it.
Yeah,
it's like
he's a jack off, and he just doesn't deserve to be.
He just doesn't deserve it. No, and everyone knows it, because when he gets up to the planet, nobody believes this guy, is good enough for the job, and like they're right, because he's just like doesn't take any of it seriously, and they're like trying to teach him how to use the ring, how to turn it into weapons and shields and whatnot, and he can't come up with anything. He absolutely gets wrecked by.
I mean, the cockiness of not wanting to be the person and being over cocky in your thing. I mean, that's like, I guess like Doctor Strange kind of had that, but in the MCU, but he proved himself worthy at the end. It's like, but this, I still don't know. So.
Yeah, he got himself absolutely wrecked by this like big dude who's kind of like trainer, pretty much just like kicked your ass when you're training to make sure that you can actually fight off.
We have our Green Lantern Corps here, and that was Kilowog is his name.
That's right. Yeah,
he's kind of like looks like a like a boar or a pig or something.
Yeah, he's
and
like this big...
like Michael Clark Duncan voiced him just prior to his death. So
oh wow,
yeah. And then we also had Mark Strong as Sinestro, who is like this red-faced kind of devil-looking Lantern Corps member. And yeah, he was being set up to be the villain in the next movie that never came.
Which made absolutely no sense, but apparently there were cut scenes where it actually made more sense. But
yeah, I mean, he's a villain in the comic books, so he's a villain and a hero both. He's like an hero.
He's like super serious and doesn't trust Hal at all. He just thinks that the other dude made a mistake for some reason, and he just doesn't trust them. He's not serious. He's not taking it seriously. He's kind of joking about the whole thing like it's all a big joke. And it's like, dude, like these people have been around. Well, not these people, but this thing, it's been around for billions of years, and you're sitting there just like cracking, doing wisecracks or whatever. It's like, turn off the Ryan Reynolds-y for a little bit, or turn it down. And, actually,
Mark Strong, who played Sinestro and went on to play Dr. Thaddeus Savannah in Shazam, the villain of that movie. So, yeah.
Interesting. I did not see that. Thaddeus. That was a pretty interesting villain.
Yeah.
In that movie too. I haven't seen part 2 Shazam, but I heard it wasn't that.
I haven't seen it yet either. I'm waiting.
It'll be on HBO Max like within a month of it airing.
Yeah. That movie has made less than Green Lantern in theaters already. I mean, it's only been out a couple weeks, but it's still.
Yeah, that's 2023 money versus 2011.
I don't know if it's made its money back yet. As we record here on the 30th of March, the movie, it opened, I don't know, like a week or two ago. Oh no, it opened on the 17th. Yeah. So we've got that. And its budget was between 110 to 125 million, less budget than this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's only made 104.1 million so far.
Shoot.
So it might not make its money back. So yeah.
I think people are just having superhero fatigue right now. I think that's part of it. I think
that, and right now with the the way that Warner Brothers is going, and they want to basically reboot the whole DC movie universe anyways, so people are kind of like, this is like a movie that's just kind of there, that's probably not going to have a sequel or anything like that, so it's nothing to really care about anymore.
Well, that's the problem with having, and this is kind of a whole other side rant. This is the problem I have with having a cinematic universe. It's like, because it's cool and stuff like that, but like nobody expects standalone movies anymore. Like like a bad. So it's like Shazam needs to have 7 movies for it to be worthwhile. You can't just watch a movie called Shazam and like it. It's got to be part of a huge.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with it is, it's like when the first Shazam came out, it was like, it wasn't really touted as part of the overarching DC extended universe at that point. Right. I mean, it did have like a Superman mention in there and stuff like that, but it stood on its own, and that was fine. The problem with it is right now, any movies that are being released by DC that are prior to the takeover of the movie unit by James Gunn and what's his name, Peter Safran or something. It's they're basically kind of just like when you're killing off a sitcom on TV after it got canceled, and you just decide to air the rest of the episodes because, a lot of times people don't watch that. Like if you find out a show got canceled, but hey, we're gonna have a new episode next week.
Right.
That's kind of that's what these movies feel like. It's like, the reason being is that if they were just standalone movies, that'd be fine. But we know that they're rebooting everything and making it cohesive. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
So it's like, it's what it is, I guess. But it's, I mean, yeah.
Oh well. I'll still watch the movie, so yeah.
Yeah, when it comes out on HBO Max, I'm definitely gonna watch it just to see how it is. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be better than this movie was. But
yeah,
even though it costed $100 million less money in 2023 money as opposed to 2011 money.
Yeah.
But, and I guess all that went into the great special effects CGI. Oh, no, actually, no, because it was terrible. And, can I talk about the suits? Please, I'm dying to talk about the suits. Can I talk about the suits?
No, you're not allowed.
Damn it. Please, I want to talk about suits so badly.
Tell you what. If you Venmo me right now $5 million, I'll let you talk about
I don't have
suits.
$5 million. I have like 80 cents.
All right, I guess what? I'll let it slide this time.
Okay.
We're allowed to talk about suits for free right now. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. These suits are so bad. Like, it's like the suits like become part of the body type of thing, kind of like Iron Man's suit, where like it, like it all like happens like a nanotech type of thing. Where he puts this, like, what was wrong? Was wrong with just wearing a suit like Batman or Superman or whatever? It had to be this thing that becomes part of yourself, and like the mask that's just like a little thing around the eyes was supposed to somehow, conceal his identity, which is one of the things that I don't like either with Supergirl and stuff, where it's like, how does no one know that this is like Kara Danvers? Like, I mean, like, if she just has a little mask on, that's it, like around her eyes, and like, oh, a blonde woman who's got exactly the same facial features and structure as this, well, who knows? It's a totally different person, but and like, it just, the way it went over his eyes, it just looked like almost like Bible Man type of special effects we're talking here. Which
when his eyes change color too when it's on there, and then you know that the whole thing, it's like his eyes were animated too.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so it's kind of like that thing, like when you take away the performance of an actor's eyes, it's harder for you to believe they're real when you have fake eyes. That's why a lot of times when they computer generate people like Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One or something, the eyes weren't quite right. That's what made the character feel in that uncanny valley sort of thing, in my opinion, because the eyes are definitely the the window to the soul sort of thing. So
yeah, exactly. It's man.
Yeah.
So yeah, the suit suck. Again, we got the Hector stories way more fleshed out.
Yeah, so let's get to that. So like basically Hector is like, kind of a loser. Yeah. But still a good scientist, not necessarily great. He's called in to work on the body of the alien that they find after Hal left it there because he had to get out of there. Right,
because because I forgot the authorities were already driving out there looking for Adi.
So, because he couldn't hide the spaceship that he came in. And we also have Amanda Waller, who is a character in this movie.
That's right.
Yeah. Played by future Black Panther actress Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Who may or may not have been robbed from the Academy Awards this year, depending on who you ask. So,
it's all effective. I mean, it's just
it's a I think awards are a sham anyway. So anyway,
whatever.
Yeah, but she's running this lab or whatever. She's the head of the Suicide Squad in future movies, played by Viola Davis later. In the comic books though, she's like 300 and some pounds or something usually. So,
oh really?
Yeah. So they've always cast women that are a lot slimmer to play the role.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's a long-standing tradition.
Yeah, well, it's not even that. It's just, I just think that they just reconceived the character for live action.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was interesting, waste of a good actress in this movie. Also, we have Tim Robbins, a good actor, playing
exactly
playing Hector's dad. even though Peter Sarsgaard plays Hector, he was born in 1971. And where's Tim Robbins at? Tim Robbins was born in 1958.
Right. Even when I saw them two on screen,
they do not look like they're old enough to be father and son.
I'm thinking like Tim Robbins is his older brother. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, me too.
Like he's 12 years older. It's one of those situations where we kind of were born, years apart, but it's like, unless your dad was like 13 when he had
basically. I mean, they gave Tim Robbins gray hair to make him look a little older, but he's still. I mean, he is a good looking guy, and he still looks young. So it's like
right.
And for some odd reason, I love Peter Sarsgaard, but he's always looked older than he is. So it was kind of this weird.
Always looked that way, yeah.
Yeah, he's always looked older. Like I always thought it was weird that like Peter Sarsgaard, even though he is a little older than he's a little older than Zach Braff, but he was like playing his like high school buddy in Garden State.
Right.
And I always found that weird because he just seemed like he was like older than Zach Braff. So it was just But
he's always got that rugged look to him.
The great actor, though. I mean,
totally.
Just watch Shattered Glass, and you'll see.
Oh God, I love that movie.
Yeah,
so much.
One of the greatest movies ever made.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So
that was actually our first movie that we ever reviewed.
Yeah, we reviewed it on our old podcast, All Too Real, the prequel series to this series.
Yep.
So yeah. Anyways, Hector is, this kind of losery guy, and we've got, but he's brought in to work on that, and he gets exposed to something that I didn't fully understand.
Yeah, exactly. Some of the yellow fear energy was in his body, I guess.
Yeah.
When he got wounded, and then he went down to Earth, and so.
And somehow the way it affects him is it made his head keep growing bigger and bigger. Like his brain was growing so big that at one point he had to get around in a wheelchair because he couldn't carry his head around.
It was, it was sort of like the big head scientist, motif. Like you've seen a bunch of characters who have like a really big head or whatever.
It's kind of like a MODOK sort of thing almost.
MODOK. I was thinking too, maybe they were trying to kind of do a symbolize that like his head's gotten bigger, like meaning he's got more cocky. And kind of gone more extreme because unlike Hal, he spent his whole life. I mean, I'm probably reading way too much into this because it's a Green Lantern movie, but he spent his whole life being like, in the shadows and not confident and stuff like that. And suddenly now he's like being able to read people's minds and things like that. So now his head's getting bigger. But to be honest, I'm probably giving that way too much credit. I don't think they even thought of that when
probably. But I mean, who knows? I mean, that might have been the basis. Like in the so in the comic books, they based all of these characters on the drawings of these characters on people at the time. Sinestro was based on Peter. I think it was Peter Lorre or somebody. I can't remember. I'm trying to remember now. I gotta look this up. Okay, so I found it. The basis for the characters of Hal Jordan and Carol Ferris were based on Paul Newman and Elizabeth Taylor.
Okay.
Sinestro was based on David Niven. That's who it was, the British actor.
Okay.
And Hector Hammond was based on Burl Ives. Burl Ives, Elizabeth Taylor, and Paul Newman were all in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof.
I thought you were still...
So basically his name is, he was based on Burl Ives. And those people were all in the movie A Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, which came out around the time that they were drawing these characters. So they used the likeness of Paul Newman, Elizabeth Taylor, Earl Ives, and then David Niven for those characters. So,
okay.
Yeah. So look those people up and see how they did.
Yeah. You see how they...
See if they look like them. Yeah. So, anyways, he's a loser guy.
I mean, he's not really a loser. He's just, he's just not confident. I mean, he's got a job and stuff. I mean, it's not like,
But you care about him because they realize that his dad is kind of like one of these, typical, powerful men who...
Yeah, like pull some strings, to get you a good job. And he doesn't want that. He wants to make his own way. But, of course, he doesn't make his own way to be some great things. So if dad's disappointed in him, and so, whatever.
Yeah. So, anyways, he basically ends up... He ends up at one point trying to kill his dad with his telekinetic powers at this party by sabotaging his helicopter at this massive party that they have. And he kind of like brings Parallax into the view. Parallax view. Oh, wow. Ooh. Because that's a thing, the Parallax view.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He's sort of like in communication with Parallax at this point.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And he can kind of read people's minds and stuff, too. So he starts, reading people's minds at this party. And, he... basically, at the party, Hal ends up using his powers, and he saves the senator. And he also saves Carol, who is put into peril. Carol is put into peril.
Yeah, Carol put into peril.
Yeah.
That.
and
Carl
so,
owns them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the following night after that, we get Hal visits Carol's home in costume.
Yeah.
And she immediately recognizes him and says, yeah, I've seen you naked. I know who you are.
Shit.
Because that's how you can tell who people are.
Yeah. Even though their face, whatever.
Yeah. I have a hard time recognizing anybody I haven't seen naked.
Yeah. I mean, I do kind of think that was interesting. Yeah, no, I got the joke.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I wasn't trying to act like I didn't get it. But
no, I gotcha.
I was just trying to say I forgot, but I did like how they kind of broke the fourth wall a little bit. By her saying how would I not recognize you when you just have like a little strip of around eyes or whatever, Yeah,
that's one of the things that's always bothered me. It's like it's like the whole Clark Kent has glasses on so we don't recognize him thing. Like we were talking earlier with like Supergirl. She doesn't even have I mean, I guess she puts glasses on when she's Kara, but sometimes, but not always.
Not when she's. I think in the Arrowverse, they finally explained that where it's like something to do, like they kind of just have like this aura about them where just people can't really see them for how they are or something like that. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, but the ones that are harder is like, Robin with his little domino mask, which you can't, it's like, okay, yeah, that's obviously, Dick Grayson, it's like, or something, in the other thing that always bothered me too about the movie adaptation of like Batman, for example, he would put on his cowl and then all of a sudden there was black paint around his eyes.
Oh,
but then he takes it off and it's not there. They finally, in the Robert Pattinson the Batman, when he takes off his mask, he has the black makeup on around his eyes.
Yeah.
And it's starting to bleed off because of sweat and whatnot. they finally got it right.
Yep.
It only took like 5 million Batman movies for them to get that right.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So we've got this, anyways, he visits her. She figures out who he is. She also gets upset when Hal tells her that he quit the Green Lantern Corps because he was basically felt like he wasn't good enough. He was kind of made to feel like he wasn't good enough by Sinestro.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Then Hector uses his telekinesis to successfly kill his father by burning him alive.
I mean, it shouldn't be laughing, but
no. He also, he's just trying to, he had elevated Amanda Waller like high above the floor, and as she's falling, Hal arrives and saves her, but he was too late to save the senator again. And I mean the powers of I'll just tell you this, I've never been a fan of Green Lantern, like in the comics or on animated shows. Just his superpower that he can create random things and stuff. It's just, I don't know. It seems a little convenient to me.
Yeah. Well, they do have like other sub stories, like the black ring and like the yellow ring, and you kind of like you get like different powers of stories around those. Those are kind of cool, but
yeah, I don't know. There's, I guess, especially this version of the powers just seem where you can create, guns, and you can create a pool of water, or you can create, an airbag if you wanted, or whatever. It's just
he couldn't come up with shit.
Yeah,
like Hot Wheels thing.
Yeah,
that's how he saved. That was like the one time in the whole movie where he actually used his powers to do anything. We're like 75% in the movie at this point.
Yeah,
and he finally used it to actually do something cool. And now we got 25% left of the movie. They just one other cool thing, and that movie's over pretty much. I mean, it was like he only did 2 things in the whole movie.
Yeah, it's like they go on. He's like ends up at one point Hector ends up kidnapping Carol so she can play her damsel in distress role that,
or Carol in Peril.
Carol in Peril. That should be a comic book itself.
Yeah.
It's just her, like, tied to a train track, or, hanging off the cliff of a mountain. Just different things where then, either Hal or another superhero saves her,
Right.
It'd be like, oh, Carol's in peril again, and they're at the, Justice League headquarters, and it's like, oh, yeah, you got this one, Bruce? Yeah, I'll go get her. How about you, Clark? You can get her this week? Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah.
What if that's actually her, like, job, though, is to basically be like a damsel in distress in order to, like, test other people's ability to save people? Like, that is her Carol in Peril. And, like, we can have a whole thing where, like she's always kind of, like, very, like, pessimistic about it. Like, oh, like, I got all these other abilities, but I always got to, basically supposed to make it into, like, a feminist type of, like, critique of, like, superhero stuff. Like, I could be doing all these other things, but I got to, tie myself to some train tracks or whatever. Of course, don't say that because then they'll get the anti-wokesters to, like,
oh, yeah,
have a brain aneurysm over it or something like that. Like, no.
Anyway, yeah, she does become a superhero in the comics, herself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's Star Sapphire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a character who, like, has, I guess she's kind of his name. They are usually villainous though, so she does have superpowers, but she's Star Sapphire, I guess, becomes kind of villainous. So yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm just reading the Wikipedia right now. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. In the comics, she ends up fighting the Green Lantern and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was at this point, like,
what's that? Yeah.
So who knows at this point
Yeah.
what they're thinking of, like, just making stuff up.
Yeah. Comic books are fun.
Yep.
Just like soap operas and like wrestling stories, you know, they're all just kind of
kind
crazy. Like one week somebody's a villain, the next week you care about them, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. So anyways, the whole, there's a big battle where, Hal basically says, hey, he takes off his ring and says to Hector, hey, you know, here, you want it, you know, you can be, he's like, cause he's all like upset because he's like, oh, it's always you that gets all the, you know, good stuff. And so he gives him the ring, and then he just like, oh, I forgot to tell you, you know, it doesn't work if you're not chosen. So
Like, oh,
so he doesn't, you know, powers don't work really well for him. But Parallax is there too, just about to kill everybody. Hal ends up getting the ring back because he ends up saving Carol. Carol throws him the ring. He puts it on, and then he's able to save the day. And he ends up killing, you know, Parallax by getting him caught in the sun's gravitational pull or something.
Oh, yeah. I remember. God damn it.
Yeah.
And plus, too, we find out earlier. It doesn't matter anymore because the plot doesn't make any sense. But
yeah,
we found out a little bit earlier, that Parallax actually used to be one of the, like priests or whatever they are, who are kind of
the old weird looking people in the circle.
They're supposed to be like, I guess, I don't know what the council. I don't know what they're supposed to do.
They're called
but
where are they? They're the what are they called?
Something.
Guardians of the Universe or something? Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, they're the Guardians.
He used to be one of them.
They're the Guardians of the Universe, not to be confused with the Guardians of the Galaxy.
No.
Yeah.
So the whole reason why the yellow stuff comes into play is that it turns out that there are different rings. It's not just green ring, and that his idea was that I think they were up against like a really powerful foe, and he didn't think that the green ring would work alone. So he heard about the yellow ring, and he wanted to utilize its powers along with the green ring so that they can defeat whoever. I don't even remember who it was. Something, but then the yellow ring is too chaotic for most people to handle, so it usually ends up just kind of like possessing the person to do like its bidding, as opposed to the green ring, which is you're supposed to have like the willpower to make it do what you want it to do.
Yeah.
And so he ended up becoming evil because the ring took over, kind of like almost like literally like the Lord of the Rings, Precious, like literally, you know. And
the special effects in this movie were so far superior to the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh yeah,
it was like, you know, the Lord of the Rings was basically just a, you know, like cardboard cutouts and stuff, right?
Yeah, it was totally. I mean, come on, yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, so he kills this Parallax guy by throwing him into the sun, and then everyone's like, "Oh, I guess you were the chosen one. We were wrong." And then even Sinestro is like, you know, begrudgingly like, "Oh, you proved yourself," whatever. And then we're like, "Yeah." And then you know, everyone lives happily ever after. He's with Carol and Peril, and then Hector's dead, of course. And then, you know, that's it. Then we get this screen cut at the end where
we get a mid-credit scene.
Yeah. It's what happens, Mike? What happens at the end credit?
Sinestro takes the yellow ring and places it on his finger, causing his green suit and eyes to turn yellow.
No. What's that? Didn't he learn the lesson already?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a piece of shit. But
And yeah, like I said, I mean, the special effects, it's like, okay, Jurassic Park came out in 1994.
Yeah.
Or somewhere around there. I could be
I think it was
off.
93, actually.
Maybe it was 93. I could be off by a year or two, yeah. But think about how, long before this movie came out, that those effects were just like amazing and they still hold up to this day, pretty much.
Oh, I know.
And then you have like the Lord of the Rings movies and the Harry Potter movies and other movies that have like this great special effects prior to this movie coming out, and then this is what we get
with a $200 million budget.
I know. It's like, I don't know.
It's wild, man.
I'm curious, like, where is it? The Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, which came out in
2001, right?
2001, was $125 million budget.
Okay.
And that's like 11 years, 10 years before the other one. What was okay, let's see the, okay, like, Deathly Hallows Part 2. Let's see what that was a $250 million budget, so $50 million more than this movie.
Yeah.
And that was released in the same year.
That was, I think, July 2011, I think.
Yeah. So the same year, little bit more budget. But guess what the box office was on that movie?
Oh, I know that was a lot of money that they made on that one.
$1.342 billion.
At that time, I think it was the highest grossing film.
So I don't know. It's just interesting to see the different budgets on movies and how you honestly wouldn't think that this movie and Deathly Hallows Part 2 would have that close of a budget.
And it also being released the same year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. It's
just
wild,
crazy.
Man. Oh.
Yeah.
I think Green Lantern came out, I think it was like in May or April.
Yeah, of the same year. 2011. So they were being made right around the same time, and it's just like, I was trying to think of movies that were out around the same time, and that's why I thought of the Harry Potter series. But yeah, it's like with special effects, it's just weird. It's like, I don't know. It's just so weird. What are any other thoughts you have?
No, just one more. So the other plot holes was that apparently, Hal, Carol, and Hector had known each other since they were kids, and they just kind of dropped that at one point. Yeah, it's like, okay, the woman who played Carol was 23 years old at the time, and Ryan Reynolds was 36. Yeah. And you tell me too, Peter Sarsberg just looks older than he is anyway. So it's like, there's no way. Yeah, he may have been like a senior in high school when they were in like the first grade or something. Like,
okay, here's a better example from that same year of movies, because I was looking things up. Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Okay.
Which had really good special effects. Say what you want about the plot, whatever. Its budget was $195 million. So $5 million less. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides had a lot bigger budget. Sorry, that one's not a good example. But like Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol had a budget of $145 million.
Oh, wow.
That year. Yeah. So yeah, that's just like, okay, in Fast 5, Fast and the Furious, $125 million budget. So this movie had bigger budgets than, a Fast and the Furious movie and a Transformers movie. And a Mission Impossible movie. All of which used decent special effects, a lot of special effects, especially Transformers. Because, it's just weird to me that, Optimus Prime looked real to me. But the characters in this movie did not. So
no, not even close.
Yeah. And these were humanoid characters and not a fucking
Yeah, they weren't
car.
robots.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they maybe who knows, maybe the new DCU, maybe they'll redo it with, a better story and better.
Well, there's
special effects.
They were, Greg Berlanti was at one point, and I don't know I think somebody else, he left the project, but he was at one point developing a HBO Max television series about the Green Lantern.
Oh, it's right. Yeah, I remember that with supposed to be with the dude who played John Diggle, right?
I think they were going to go in a different direction because they were going to go with a different Lantern than John Stewart one. But back in October they announced it's being redeveloped. It lost its writer. It's now going to focus on John Stewart, but I don't think that it's going to be connected to the Arrowverse at all.
It sucks because they built that whole thing up with
but
finding out that his stepdad's last name is Stewart.
Yeah, I think they weren't allowed to make him the Green Lantern, so they never did.
It's just so dumb because they even had the thing at the end of Arrow where he sees this spaceship crash, you see this green glow. It's obvious what they were building up,
And he's also, I haven't been keeping up with it, but he's also in Superman and Lois a lot. And he's like the only character besides Superman and Lois that hasn't been recast from the Arrowverse. So he's like an alternate version of himself, but still played by the same.
It's just so bizarre. I haven't been either.
I need to catch up with that stuff, but yeah. But yeah, I do think for quite a while there, they kind of lost their way somewhat in the Arrowverse, but the Arrowverse was the definitive DC storytelling, in my opinion. Better than, all these Snyder fanboys. I don't get me wrong, Zack Snyder is a good filmmaker, but I think some of the things he was doing in the DCEU weren't going well. They had their own issues when his kid died and he left the Justice League, and then Joss fucking Whedon took it over, and
that guy, that guy,
and Joss Whedon has some good television shows out there. I'm in the middle of one right now that he co-created, so I'm in the middle of watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. again. But still,
he's also Buffy, but he's
Buffy and Angel, and but he's supposedly a misogynistic asshole sometimes, which is really weird to me because he created probably one of the most definitive female characters in television history.
Well, it's just one of those things. Maybe that's what he wanted to be like, so he kind of maybe that was his way of sort of maybe almost like an act of contrition, he knows he's bad in real life, so maybe he makes strong female characters that sort of counteracts. I don't know. I'm just wondering, that's weird that.
So I found a more recent article about the Green Lantern television series. It's actually this is the latest on it. It's an HBO series called Lanterns, centered around the Green Lanterns. It is set to be pushed into the forefront of the DCU's first chapter, and here is everything fans should know, blah, blah, blah. Which Green Lanterns will it focus on? It's going to focus on Hal Jordan and John Stewart.
Okay.
Lanterns will revolve around the two of them investigating a mystery that Peter Safran describes as a terrestrial-based one that ties into the DCU overall story.
Yeah.
So it's going to be probably Earth-based more than in space.
Hey.
Yeah.
Earth, born in space, I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, Lanterns is confirmed to be separate from Greg Berlanti's Green Lantern series for HBO Max, which is no longer moving forward. So Berlanti's series is dead altogether.
Yeah.
So Lanterns is the new thing that they're doing. So I don't know. My opinion, they should have given Greg Berlanti some kind of like, I don't think he should have been instead of James Gunn necessarily the head of DCU, but they should have given him some kind of like high position there. I think he's still got like an overall deal with Warner Brothers and like contract type stuff, but he's also, you know, he's created other TV shows like You on Netflix and and you know, some more dramas and stuff that I can't think of off the top of my head. But yeah, stuff outside of the DC universe and stuff. He's, you know, he also did that like Love Simon and stuff like that movie and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know which one. Love Simon or what? Like, there's a TV show spin-off of the movie. One of them is called Love Simon. The other one's called Love Something Else, and I can't remember which one is first. So I have yet to watch either one. I'm sorry, folks. But yeah. But yeah, he's a good writer, and he's got a lot going for him, you know, and hopefully, I just wish he had more of a say in the trajectory of the DCU.
Right.
So,
yeah,
because he's proven himself to be able to do, you know, good comic book storytelling.
Okay.
Anyways,
yeah. But okay.
Any other thoughts here on the Green Lantern?
No, I just want to put a pin in that chapter of my life of thinking about the Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds.
Well, I tell you what, I'll let you talk about the suits all you want, but all you got to do to talk about suits is watch this movie 5 more times.
No, I can't do it. I'll do it. I can't do it. Yeah.
So you can never talk about the suits in this movie ever again then.
Fine.
Is that a good deal?
No.
You can talk about them all you want.
Okay.
There's this thing called freedom of speech, man.
That's right, free speech. I'm not going to let the wokesters.
I'm not going to cancel you, man. Oh, no.
I'm not going to let wokeism take away my freedom. I'm not going to let it happen.
Anyways, folks, if you feel like it, be sure to like share the show if you want to help us out. There's ways that you can help out the show. You can share the show. I'm not telling anybody to do this, by the way. It's a suggestion.
Hey,
just want to make that clear.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to do that. So
yeah,
you're not allowed to promote yourself.
No,
so.
I guess not.
Just the rule.
Yeah. According to Facebook, you're not allowed to. Not Facebook itself, not like Meta, not like the company.
Yeah.
Just random people on there. Anyway, so yeah, you can, you know, help us out by you know, if you want to make sure that we continue to provide this excellent content. You can share the show, subscribe, go to all2real2.com. You can find all that stuff there. Go to our TeePublic, go to our Patreon. Those are ways to help out, you know, And, just tell a friend.
Tell a friend. One.
If you like the show, tell your friend.
Yeah, if you like it, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, then
and if you want to. Again, I am not telling anybody to do any of this stuff. Nobody is forcing you to do this. And if you want us to share anything on our page or anywhere else, you can send it to us. And we'd be willing to do that within reason. And
yeah, we promote other people's stuff all the time, but apparently that's bad too. So that.
Well, no, apparently we don't do that.
Oh, that's right. We don't.
Mm-hmm.
We have not promoted my ex-guitar teacher's album and tour. And we have not promoted, even mentioned big channels that don't even need mentioning, but no. I just wanted to say it because I liked an episode they had, whatever.
And in our show notes for the past, few years, we have not had a bunch of charities listed.
Oh, no.
Those have not been there.
Nope.
But they are. So here, now that I'm mentioning them, check those out because, those are a lot of people out there that could use help these times of the world that are good, bad, and indifferent, people struggling with things, whether it be health or political issues or, social issues, whatever it is. There's ways to help that are listed in the show notes right there.
Right there.
Can't see what I'm doing, but I'm doing this whole hand motion thing where I'm saying they're right there. You can see them. Anyways, so folks, sorry, little tangent there. Anyways, and again, another thing. Thank you for listening to the show. We appreciate you. And remember to be good, recycle, be kind to each other. Remember that I love you and Sesame loves you.
Uh-huh.
And until next time, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.